Yay! Hi, everybody. It's JWoww of Planet JWoww. And yeah, it's been an interesting day of diving into, for me, interesting to me, day of diving into efficiency. And what does that get to mean for me in terms of, getting lots of things done and doing them well? Again, I'm figuring out where this camera needs to be because it's different places. There we go. And I don't realize it until after I've started. There we go. Okay, that feels better. Oh, I just realized something. Wait a minute. Sorry for the seasickness, you guys. I can do this. I'm trying to get it near where I tend to look. There we go. All right, I think that will work. Yay. Seems a little cockeyed. All right. Okay, yeah, seeing me in motion, I will get the hang of this, sweet ones. Promise. All right. Okay, and this is part of what it is that I want to do in terms of showing how the things get built, because they're the things that need to be framed. There's freedom to allow learning to enter, which is a part of allowing ourselves to be taught. It starts with allowing learnings to enter us first. And so the bridges that we're building with Liwi, with this languaging of inclusion, welcome, and empowerment, those bridges work internally as well as externally. And in fact, the external bridges get built first internally for all of us. I mean, we do our visioning. Even when we're building things on the fly, we're doing visioning in order to have the thing come into existence. There's a threshold where the visioning turns into the physicalization of something. We get what we ask for, and we get what we call for, and we get what we actively invite. Calling for something, asking for something, calling for something, having it be a calling that comes up out of a more robust sacred place, and calling that thing forward, calling that forward thing into our lives now so that we can become the seed of that thing that we want. And then it's just flat out inviting. It's like, this isn't an open call, a cattle call. This is a very specific invitation to a thing, to let it know that it is welcome, that we have made space for it, that we have the cabinet of kosher food for Stu Bernstein. I was so proud because I was the one who learned how to keep the cabinet and do the things and all of the stuff so that when he came once a year, he could, in absolute good faith, know that whatever needed to be done got done. You want to get things done in a disciplined and specific manner, find somebody who is autistic, who is functional in your particular need and industry, and turn them loose with the instructions. It's great. They're blissed out. We're blissed out because we've got a thing and we can do the thing. If that's our jam, if order is our autistic jam, then it's fantastic, right? So these levels, this gradation of sovereign choice manifested as an invitation to other, a specific, enthusiastic invitation to other to come be with us, to come join us, to be in our space. All of that is enfolding behavior, folks. Penetrative behavior isn't the only power source. And when we get that penetrative receptive balancing that creates power, power being defined as the ability to influence that which is not our isness, in the spaces that we are in, when we get what that pulse balance, that multidimensional Cirque du Soleil thing that we do energetically and spiritually, when we get that, when we understand that, when we root stand that, that's when we get the power to make the differences that we're calling. It's not, be the change that you want to see in the world. I'm not called to that. I understand that it is a calling for some folks. I want the change that I envision to manifest with me. I want to be calibrated. I want to be calibrated by, not be, what I want to see in the world, because I want to ensure that anything that I'm calling forward in the world is de facto, a priori. I am doing it, therefore, ergo, there is massive diversity across any intersectional lines that you can think of. Like, that's true. It's limnoscate rave, right? That, living that dance all the time, the molecule on, pharmaceutical grade LSD dance. I like that one. That's a good one. We will be hearing that one again. That dance is the same as the broken wing butterfly friend of mine that covered more ground while going forward than those who did this. And it looks like failure, and it's not. It has its own meta or super extra. I don't like the super because it's a hierarchy. The extra, the additional patterns in what is a wide swath. That butterfly flew straight. That butterfly flew between these corridors, did this with all the other butterfly friends. Right? Some of us need to do that because we have a whole bunch of things that we're bringing to the party. We have a whole bunch of things that we want to offer our beloveds, and we can, so we do. Less and less am I seeing myself as a failure in not being out there making the millions and millions that everyone has known that I'm supposed to make. I cannot tell you how many times I've stood in the middle of a bunch of multimillionaires and said, y'all want me wealthy, right? And everybody's like, absolutely. Right? We're counting on you to do that thing you do and have the currencies of power that make it safe for us to do the things that you bring that are the notness of they are existential threats to us. And we want to say yes to them because they come from you and your people. So go figure out what your people, what your tribe is. The only way I knew how to do that, I had a very successful model of getting everything that I wanted. Several of them. And when I put them together, they seemed like a system. So then I tested the system, and it's a system for building legend and legacy. with a life that is either epic or about to be epic, and you get to have fun. You get to have a blast in the process. That life, that beingness, I love bringing all of that to my prayers, all of that to my seva, the thing that has me weep whenever I read anything that does the Jesus washing the feet thing. That has meaning for me. I used to say about Abby Spinner McBride and Jeff McBride, and back in the day, very different than who they are now. And back in the day, I said my king tends fire and my queen wears combat boots, because that was real for me. So all of those pieces get to tie together in what is the most massive me that I can bring to any given moment, and bring it with delight, bring it with the empowerment that is augmented by delight. It's augmented hormonally and chemically in us. It's augmented in our energetic fields. It's augmented in and by our languaging to ourselves, our languaging to other. Delight, authentic delight, is an exquisite ingredient to add to any prayer. And there are plenty of folks who don't feel that you're supposed to enjoy prayer, that prayer doesn't get to be fun. They also don't necessarily believe that prayer gets to be active, or that prayer gets to be every day. And then there's a whole slew of people that call themselves kitchen wizards and kitchen witches and kitchen whatever it is, kitchen shamans. And the point to it being the kitchen is, feed the tribe. And I do chemistry and alchemy, and I'm also whatever, fill in the blank that their jam is on a spiritual level. And I use everyday things. The person with the specialized weapons is lethal. The person who's lethal as an isness, and then there are tools at their access with which they have expertise, Okay, great. That's cool too. It's a two. It's not the main thing. Delighting in that power, delighting in that reach, delighting in that clout, delighting in that ability to reach out into the world and have things happen, to reach out into the world energetically and watch things happen. And so it's this contact improv dance with spirit, because am I reaching out and am I at cause for things, or am I reaching out or am I reaching out at the same time in a synchronicity, in an agency-rooted synchronicity with spirit and timing and all of those axes. And I get to be the confluence of all of that. And so it's not early or late. It simply is. Like what I'm doing simply is. It's the feeling of that. Because I have this experience as a multiple. I have an experience of being many as well as being one at the same time. And there's a thing that's that. There's a point where it goes from one to many, and that point, at the point of division, That's an imaginal moment. That's what I bring, what Planet JWoww brings to that imaginal engineering moment, that imaginal bridgeneering moment. That's what gets when you bring skill and expertise to that moment. It's like one of these Jericho roses. Arjan had this Jericho rose. It's this thing that's like this big, and it blossoms out to like this big, and it'll sit for like 1,000 years, just hanging out until some water comes, and then it'll do its blossom thing, and then when the water goes away, it'll like wrap itself up again. That's deep. Like that's some serious Valentine Michael Smith weight stuff right there. There's a whole different kind of weight. I want, when I think of survival, I'm now thinking of Jericho roses instead of Rambo. That's a deep statement. Roses instead of Rambo. There's power in surviving well. The caliber of the dust with which we make our bricks affects the strength of the bridges we get to build. JWoww. There's power in the survival that comes from contiguously existing. And that's the dust of our confident, complex, later self, if we play our cards right. So we play our cards right. So we do be at the level that we are on what we call the humanality journey. It's the dance of that flex, human and divinity, right? Whatever those patterns are that are interwoven and separate lobes that turn into these complex toruses that then in and of themselves weave into, whole spheres of existence. That's the ality part. And it's this multivinity humanity thing. That's the dance. Those are the lobes of the dance. And it's not that one is better than the other. There's a lot of ascribing that which is negative or dumb to the humanity, and the spirit is the great thing. Spirit doesn't have anything to do with this if we're not here. So that makes us valuable. And I believe that the sooner we start valuing ourselves, not from a place of arrogance, valuing ourselves, like doing a valuation of ourselves that includes the ecosystems that make it possible for us to exist. We all come with ecosystems. And there's one letter of difference between that eco and that ego. And it makes all the difference in the world. And we're in a place now where we can do something about doing that movement from ego to eco. That happens along channels of figuring out what does equality need to look like. People use equality and equity as if they are the same thing, and they're not. That equity is your investment in thing, your investment, your share investment, your gift investment, whatever that is. That's your equity in the thing. That's what, you've got your hands in the guts of the thing. You are part of it even when you are outside of it. That's your equity in the thing. It's your commitment to the thing. That's equity. Equality means it's all level. It's all equal. It doesn't mean homogeny. It means that there's an understood balance in the valuation of things. Ryan B. Curtis does paintings. They are breathtaking, and they're photo painting, multimedia, dynamic events in a still form, and they're stunning. RyanBCurtis.com. And he gets 10, 20 grand for his stuff. Ani DeFranco wears one of his t-shirts, one of her favorite shirts, wear it on, I think, an album cover. He gets to be that guy, and that gets to be good. I want to celebrate with folks what we've called forward. So I'm looking at the time, and it's taken me 21 minutes to get all of the pieces in place so that I can get to that sentence in a world where they tell me that the attention span is approximately 4 seconds, the average. But that's not much longer than that of an almost dead gnat. Okay, it's like, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I'm stepping up and saying, whoever they're polling, that may be true. I do not believe that is true for everyone. And so I am a living calling now to folks who resonate with this. Whatever this is, instead of figuring it out in my room by myself, like this, right? Instead of doing that, I'm figuring it out with you. You guys are a calling to me to become greatness. And I have seeded by loving people into their greatness. I have seeded into the collective emotionality, the collective consciousness, the collective spirituality. I've seeded into it with my conviction. Do you have a flag? Right? Eddie Izzard, with my conviction that there's a world somewhere where we get to be a good thing. I'm like, okay, I'll believe you. The kids who stole me to try and kill me, they're like, nobody's ever going to, love you. Nobody's ever going to be your friend. Nobody's going to find you. And by the way, those of you who are coming in and out, just drop your name here and say hi. And thank you for being here. I'm like, okay, I believe you. I believe that in your world, I don't fit. All right, I'm going to make my own world. How about that? So I did. Like, you just got to let me know what I need to do to get what I want. I want everybody to be happy. And if I'm making somebody unhappy, then we're not aligned. If I'm making someone unhappy and I didn't mean to, then we're not aligned, because that's not what I want to do. I don't want to be tolerated. I don't want to be accepted. I want to be welcomed vehemently, actively, enthusiastically. And it's okay. I finally am getting, it's okay to want that. Most folks don't want to hear that it's okay to feel great. You're supposed to be mad at people who feel great so they don't get a swelled head. Well, what happens if they get a swelled head? Well, that's part of what you build into the culture. On Planet JWoww, brag. I got turned on to bragging is a good thing. I mean, I do it, and I want other folks to do it. And then it hit me. Bragging is being real about goodness and greatness. BRAGG, bragging. So I want that to be a healing thing, because it is for me. I just kept doing things because behavior that's rewarded persists, behavior that's cherished innovates, behavior that's celebrated evolves. And let's face it, evolution is a bunch of innovations having a rave in the culture sub-basement. And there's more that comes after that. There are formulas here to live into, to have calibrate us. And there's code built into the language. I've been having a ball over here. And now the folks who love tracking, the folks who love like they love poking the thing, they like mist was nothing for them, they like poked everything, right? I'm a field day for those folks, because I don't even know what's going to come forward a good part of the time. And as it's coming forward, I get to shape it, because many hands make light work. Okay, many hands make life work. Oh, I like that. See, that's what I mean, right? Okay, I like that. It's like there's something there. Stay with the many hands make light work. That makes sense. What can you do that's going to leeway that? That's going to JWoww that? That's going to JWoww, joy, wisdom, opportunity, and wonder. See, I played the game in a way so that it's not hubris for me. When I talk about we, I'm not talking about the royal we. There are 24 of us in here. It's like, how can I tell the truth and say the things? So you tell the insane truth and then you live into it. Some people have, the word hyperbolic gets thrown around me a lot until people realize that I am toning down a good portion of the stories that I tell. And I'm the opposite of the, oh, I need to puff up my thing. I want to share my life as faction, because it inspires people, because it's food. I also want to share my life as faction because some really cool things happened, and I want the world to know that while they may look at these things as miraculous, I have so many miracles in my life. I've beaten 2 incurable conditions. Okay, one of them, I'm the only human being in the history of medicine to beat this condition. Okay, it's like there's I love getting to be the date and time stamped miracle squad. Okay, like I figured out early on that my life was pretty wild, and so I needed to date and time stamp it. So I date and time stamped it 2 ways. I did it organically, and then I did it with some sort of order. The organic one was having lots of people around me who have really good memories, and then checking in with them over years and then over decades to make sure that I'm still remembering things well, so that I can verify that I'm remembering things well and right, because it's important to me to speak the truth. That's how I live that. So the other way was using technology, whatever was the technology at the time, using it to catch pieces, big pieces, little pieces, so that something could be strung together with enough clues. I figured eventually they'd have some sort of something that, there was no word big data, computer, but they'd have some sort of something that could take all the bits and pieces from all over the world and put them together in a way that would, I don't know, they date and timestamp stuff, and they do the geographic thing because they were computers, and they would figure out that the things that I said happened may have been off on my timeline for the most part, not everything. And for the most part, they did. I did start to fall down an 800-foot waterfall. Okay, it's like that gets to be true. And we get to enjoy having incredible lives and celebrating our lives ourselves. In that celebration of our lives ourselves, that's where we start getting more and more power. That's when we start getting the power that we get to pour into what it is that we do, what it is that we pray, what it is that we want to manifest, what it is that we attract, what it is that we want to manifest, what it is that we call, what it is that we invite, what it is that we welcome, and then what it is that we're so committed to that we study the thing so thoroughly and deeply, make our choices, and then look at what would that being want in a partner, and then systematically set out to become that. And that's how I wound up with Penny. I mean, 31 years of bliss. 31 years of bliss. All the work, all the plurk, all the play, bliss at every turn, going to bed every night more in love than we thought our hearts could handle. Waking up every morning more in love than when we went to sleep. That's been the cycle. That was called, that was planned, that was prayed for, that was written out. She was every single thing on a single sheet of paper, both sides, single space. She was everything on the list. Except her hair color. I love gray hair, silver hair, white hair, fill it in. And hers was blonde. And then I found out 6 months in or so that it actually was white. It had turned white so early that she dyed it blonde, and it just looked natural. It didn't look like gray hair. It was dyed. So there you go. So I got my gray hair. My white hair. I'm sharing how I'm building me. And I want to do it in a way that feels yummy to me, where I get to live into the freedom that this technology gives me, and that feeds and feels good to y'all. And what's really lovely about this technology is that you get to choose. If this is good for you, then you'll connect with it, and you'll do what you need to do to connect with it, and you get to self-select. That's the agency part that technology gives us. It gives us the freedom of choice. It's not simply accepting something paltry that we're given. Yes, there are different calibers of and levels and degrees and all of those hierarchical things that are not necessarily bad. Ask any Christmas tree. It's like, if it's randomly shaped, it doesn't land as a Christmas tree. For me, it doesn't land as a pine that's a Christmas tree. Where we choose to invest our time and our energies, that we're told that we're not supposed to think about what we get back. I mean, that's the part that I don't get. It's like it's an exchange. And hi, whoever you are that here, drop your name and say hello if you're up for it. I'm building me here. That investment in other, that investment in what has come through someone else, and then our investment of what we learn in having something that's a notness we can trust because it feels safe. That is a notness of our isness that we can trust because causally it feels safe. That's the environment where learning takes place well. That wellness being defined, that success being defined by parameters of, for me, us, of satisfaction, of pleasure, of achieving a worthwhile goal, whether or not that worthwhile goal is the goal that we started with. So there's adaptability in there as well. That knowing of my own connection to my greatness, me being the seed of my greatness. My existence seeded me into a greatness that is idiosyncratically mine. And then how much of that I achieve depends upon the choices that I'm making on my path. And at that point, how do you do evaluation of self? Is it the value that you bring to someone in the future? Because that's usually what it is. Is it the value? Is there some innate value, physical value? Even that innate value. And I know I'm all over the place. All of these pieces are here because what I'm getting to is safety. That whole thing about memory loss and trauma, right? That I wrote about. I opt to let someone not. They get to hold something that's not true because I told them how I knew that what I said was true and how I corroborated it, and they dismissed it and wanted to tell me what my reality was. And I don't let other people that I negotiate who gets to calibrate me, who gets to help me calibrate myself. I don't let many people help me calibrate me. I'm able to do this because of technology, and we're at one remove while we're learning how to bridge, connect, and have the nourishment and feelings and feeding happen between us in a way that is safe, because the technology brings the energetics, it brings the images, and we're supplying anything else that we need to sensoriate, anything else that we need to see or hear or feel or taste or whatever the thing is. The lovely thing about for telepaths is that they've got a couple extra bridge lines to get information that's very similar to what computers get to do, what the internet gets to do, and it's faster. So once they can get a bead on something, they've got a way of finding stuff out. And most of the telepaths that I've met, telepaths and empaths and telepaths that I've met, are real good about the etiquette thing. Hey, Bronwyn. It's great to see you, sweetie. That little picture right there. This whole etiquette piece ties in with the spirituality thing and the calling thing and the welcoming thing and the thing that has us be able to bring into our life. Oh my goodness, hi. I love you back. And I'm really glad to see you. Thanks for coming on and saying hi. This is really neat because I get to be with my tribe. You guys feel real to me, and that's important in this virtual world because I didn't know if I was going to be going out. I've been out of this house in the past 2+ years since the shutdown. I've been out of this house 12 times. I'm getting better. And I went out again this past weekend, and I'm making plans to get out of the house. I'm figuring it out. And I needed to find a way to do this play work. I needed to find a way to do this plurk and be in it and be in my joy and be in my pleasure and be able to do it from this room, this house. And trust that spirit helped me be born at a time where now when I'm ready to speak with people, that technology will make it so that I have a voice. I'm Black, I'm gay, I'm female, I'm old, I'm technically mentally handicapped, I'm technically physically handicapped. So technically I have no voice. And yet I have a voice. I have a voice because of technology. I have a voice because there are folks. Miss you too. I'm able to speak, and that wasn't a thrown off. I miss you. Thank you. Yes. I would also love to see you. And now I'm at a place where I read that and I'm technically transcendent. All the mics drop for me. Thank you. Thank you. I would love to feel that. I think that would be a wonderful thing to feel. And I can feel the reaches of that, the roots and the branches of that in places. And I have been told things, and all of those things are true. And I still have, spiritual dysmorphia. This spiritual, okay, I got to figure out what that is. There are moments when I count on knowing the size of my spirit, and then I stop knowing so that I can just do stuff. Okay, yeah, I was doing some superhuman things at one point, and this beloved's mother said, because I was also really, really, really broken. I was broken. People are like, oh, you're not broken. I'm like, sweetheart, I was broken. That's not if you drop the china and it hits a tile floor, all them little pieces, you can turn them into a mosaic. You can make something beautiful at some other point. But baby, the cup's busted. That's all right. That's what we got. And I can tell the cup that it's not busted till the cows come home. Cup's busted. Now, you can do that, what is it, kintsugi, that Robin Soul Lieberman is doing, where you put the gold in between the busted things and you do ceremony. That's really beautiful. And she got these kits out in Los Angeles, right? And it's still a busted bowl that's got a new life as a ceremonial badass. Now that's a good description of a whole bunch of us who are bringing the lessons that we, in some cases, literally bled for, to those that we hope never need to bleed that way, and get to grow from what it is that we offer. From nightmare to nirvana, grow from what it is that we offer. Feeling useful is important to me, and my experience has been it's important to those of us who have gotten our asses kicked. And I don't mean a little bit. I mean like size 11 military combat boots, size 15 military combat boots all over my ass. And the beautiful thing about it is it makes for great stories and great stamina. Those are two things that you get out of getting your butt kicked enough. You got great stories if you don't die, and you got great stamina. Or I chose for that to be true for me. And I've seeded that into others, and I've offered it to yet and still others who didn't have it and got more beaten down than I did. I got my own version of beaten down. This is what, day 6, something like that, I've been on here. And like tonight is an all over the place night, right? Like I'm living it like this. I keep saying in each thing, I look forward to the day when there's something that can tell me that there are thousands of watch parties that like spontaneously show up because the internet's possible, and they're pods of people from all over the world who have come together around one of the concepts that we have on planet JWoww. And so when I put up a thing that says I'm going to be talking about it or around it, or it seeded something or something about it, I may or may not talk about it. It seeded something, and then off I go. And that gets to be valuable. And that gets to be something that these folks go, yes, I'm in for that. And they like arrangements are made because folks get better, they get healed, they get more aligned with themselves, they align themselves more with what's actually their rooted power. Power being defined as the ability to influence that which is not our isness. They get rooted with that power, and it imprints them, their meat sack, their lens stack in a meat sack suit, their celesticelio lens stack in a meat sack suit that gets to be a real thing. Ah! Oh my God, I'm having so much fun with this game, right? Game, growth agentiality, magic, empowerment. And there's all kinds of videos. I haven't left breadcrumbs for how to build a global culture of inclusion, welcome, and empowerment. I have left 5-star restaurants back to back, touching each other. It's like, folks, we've got this. Like, that's the part I want everybody to get. We're good. We're going to get more done if we relax and have fun. We will get more done when we relax and have fun. Okay, so I need to define done. I need to define fun. I need to define get. I defined ing. Yeah, slowly but surely. You've got to. You don't have to. If got to, get to and got to are not the same thing. Get to and got to are not the same thing. Get to is where you feel honored by the opportunity to do the thing. Got to is the burden of I have to because some outside force is making me. The instant you say I have to, my question is going to be according to whom? My mom, very wise woman, said, Julie Carol Woods, there are only two things you have to do in life: stay black and die. Everything else is gravy. Okay? You're welcome. It'll change your life, darling. Big girl, I'm telling you, it will change your life. Every time you say got, you be on that like brown on an Ayurvedic hippie's rice about that got thing. If that's your thing, like some people it's got, some people it's have to. There's a whole like sequence. Where's this thing? There's this whole sequence. I want somebody to come to my house and like rebuild my room into my dream room. Like that's what I want. Oh, that's what I want. It's what I need. Somewhere here I've got a thing. See, supposedly had this all organized and I let it all go. There's a whole sequence. There's a whole shaming sequence that happens that goes from, have to, oh, maybe it's over here. Hold on. I've got this room that is definitely a shaman's cave. Actually, no, seriously, I'm going to find this. So, here, nope. Got all these nooks and crannies. Nope, it's not that either. Boy, normally I have this right at hand because I use it all the time. So now I'm just officially annoyed. Huh. Well, it doesn't want to be found. And that's my conclusion. Okay. It's kind of hard to believe, and thank you, by the way, for thanking me. And not like I finally found folks who don't get mad when I offer up something about what they've done. And somehow, y'all, we haven't negotiated. Yeah, I know. I'm in the back of my mind, I'm going, I know it's here and I want it because it's a really cool thing. And, I know LJ wants it because it's a really cool thing that we made. Anyway, I grow with my friends. I grow with my tribe because the friends, I have lots of people that I am, most of the world I am friendly with. And then there are people that I trust because they are tribe folks. Like if you get the tribal thing, and on Planet JWoww now we've got tribe, 3 eyes, individuationality. Ha! Got it out the first time. Individuationality. Innovation. Intimacy. Okay? There's 3 components. It's also a sequence. And that's what has our tribe be the tribe that steps up into, expands into, in all directions, roots and branches, opens out into this globality, right? That's how we can have a global culture of inclusion, welcome, and empowerment, because it feeds diversity, it feeds diversiveness, it feeds the isness of that diversity. As a thing, it is a diversiveness that has all kinds of diversities. Because when you talk about diversity, you're talking about some centralized node or something that there's a notness of. That's the point to the division. That's the point to the beauty of the division, the differentness, the diversiveness. We get to, when we celebrate those differences, we also get to celebrate that they are gapped environments. On some level, that's what makes it a notness, so that diversiveness can occur. Division and gapped environments. It's not something to grieve that we are radically different. We get to discover each other. This is wonderful exercise that I got from Patricia Fripp. I was living it before that, and to hear it articulated was exquisite and felt very validating because I have a great deal of respect for her. And so she talked about how just once a month, you pick something that you would absolutely never do. Like under any circumstance, you would never do it. And you find somebody who's an expert in it who will sit down with you for a day or a couple hours or something and just have you live their delight in that thing that you'd never do, and like record it and take notes and live into it with them and feel into it from a safe space, from one remove. I thought, that's how I get to reach folks. I get to create safety for myself. Safety being defined as sovereign awareness for, from, everyone. Thank you. Because the etiquette thing is in there. It was ending the lie of separation. I think about the duality of that a lot. Right. I don't consider separation to be a lie. And I'm not, that's her reality, and, honor to it. For me, I believe in and. Jaywa, would you like chocolate or vanilla? Yes. It's a math game. Bake 2 cakes, right? That's where I am. That's where I am. So I get off on the all one and the separation and getting to do all that. Like, have it all. Hold the reality, hold the multi-docs, hold the things that are beyond what we're given, and we're supposed to conceptually, which is not the thing, conceptually take. I'm conceptualizing things. Choose action now. I'm conceptualizing things. I'm like, yeah, I want the yes, I want the and of the thing. I love the separation. I love my alone time. I love being away from people. I'm a gregarious hermit. That gets to be true. If that gives you agita, take a Tums. Not you, but I'm just saying the folks that, because there's a good portion of the world where I sit on their last nerve. I sit my ass down in spiked underwear on their last nerve. That's funny. That's a good one. That's a good one. Right? I just, oh, have mercy. Okay, I just want it all, because if I have to choose one or the other, I don't want to lose the lessons that I bled for and the nightmares that have been my life, that I've composted into nourishment, from nightmare to nourishment to nirvana. Okay, I have done that dance over and over again, one brick of nightmare at a time, and composted it into dust, and turn that into dirt, and turn that dirt into loam, and turn the loam into food for roots, so that I get the lessons, and then I get to move forward to the nirvana and the feeding and all the happy, joy, and the birds singing and all that mess. And I get to be that too. And I get to be both of them, because I'm committed to the nourishment in the center. And since I've done so much shit and I got a lot of those bricks anyway, I'm like, hey, there's a bunch of you guys. I got a bunch of stuff. I'm going to keep going, and y'all will catch up, because I'm slow as fuck. I'm just thorough. So if I start now, then by the time I get to where we want to go. Y'all will be about here and you'll be able to see me. You know, I'm not designed to be missed. I get to have fun with my isness because that's true. Right? That gets to be true, and I get to delight in it, and y'all get to think it's funny, and it just gets to be a thing, right? I told somebody I am megalomaniacal narcissism put to excellent use because I actually also give a fuck. When you can get a megalomaniacal narcissist who also cares very deeply about the whole world, I'm like, look, it's real simple. Feed my ego, I'll feed a planet. That's it. You know, I saw some organization, they've fed, 210,000 people, and it's a big deal. By myself, talking to people and getting them to help me, we fed 170,000 families in 4 states before there was all this internet connectivity. Okay, that's badass. That gets to be fun. That gets to be inspiring. I love that we did that. And not we, me, all the folks who came through for that. I want to enjoy that. And I want other people to enjoy that I did it. And I want them to enjoy it so much that they're like, I want to have a thing like that where like I get to like take care of people and get my ego fed. Like I can say, yeah, tell me how great I am because I kicked ass today. And people go, yep, you did. Okay, because that's real for me. Right? It's like, I know only one way to have people not be mad at you for bragging about doing really great shit. And that's to do really great shit and include them in the ride. So I'm doing it now for a whole planet, right here, right now. That's what I'm doing. This is what it takes. See this? This is what it takes to build a planet JWoww. I don't know what it takes to build a planet somebody else. I know what it takes to build a planet JWoww so far. Don't know what's next. Making it up, living into it. That's what I was talking about before. Becoming the thing, beyond the calling, beyond the manifesting, beyond the attraction, beyond all of that. Beyond the welcome, beyond the invitation, beyond the welcome, beyond all of that is wanting something to be present with you so much that you will become that which you are not in order to be the thing that will have them be at ease, feeling safe, being delighted, wanting to be with you forever. What do I need to be? What do I need to become? How do I need to be? Tell me and I will do it. And so reaching out across time and dimensions and space and everything that you want to pick as an axis, like looking like a pod of octopuses on pharmaceutical grade Coke, a pod of Krakens, right? Looking out, finding in every dimension what could possibly have the thing that I'm imagining want to be with me. And then working my ass off as fast as I could to become that. 24/7 subliminals as soon as I found out where I could get them, and just working my way up the food chain to the subliminals that I've been using for 30 years. There's a reason why I'm not on medication. And I'm crazy as a loon. I've done all kinds of things to make sure that this gets managed inside and out. I found a subliminal company that is the love child of a Maserati, a Ferrari, a Hummer, and a bespoke Rolls Royce and a monster truck. It's a Valentine Michael Smith subliminal company. They're brilliant. Everything they do helps heal. Right? And so I just programmed myself. I calibrated myself with something that I trusted. And trust, part of trust is safety. Safety being sovereign awareness for, from, everyone. Thank you. Right? So I set myself up in my life with a model that works. And then I proceeded to date and timestamp it. Penny and I have been together for 31 years. We have been blissfully happy for 31 years. Have you met me? I wouldn't date me. I'm not putting myself down. I really wouldn't. Right? And yes, she's an angel and I am the devil's trainer. I mean, that's real. This is not an interracial relationship. This is an interspecies relationship. I say that glibly. It is also true. Okay? And I get off on it. I'm buck naked turning this color at Burning Man in my boots and sometimes underwear because I don't always want all that alkaline all up in my hooch and my respirator. So, it'd be short sometimes and just bake myself until I was this color, right? You put Penny's little pretty pink, blonde-haired, white-haired, blue-eyed self in a photography dark room that's blacked out and you say sun 5 times and she will burn in the dark. Right? We are such radical different and yet here we are together. And I keep feeling that that's a model. I keep coming back to models around truth, I'm coming back around to the gaslighting. There are many truths. And I'm learning the energetics of a vehement assuredness stripped of the absolutism of conviction. A vehement assuredness stripped of the absolutism of conviction. Eddie Izzard, do you have a flag? Right? I'm just checking out what you said, Bronwyn. Trying to feel the peace of my own home. Right. The feeling, but I thought I found my tribe. I've had to focus more on individual relationships. Right. Building trust within the conscious community. Right. Yeah. Agreed. I am loved by multiple tribes and honored that that's true and welcome in those places, even before I learned how to make my bed. Right? I'm deeply honored. And their love has literally kept me alive. And there was a point where I thought I was going to be part of a tribe of a couple friends who were getting deep into their magic and living it at that point and seemed to be forming a tribe. And then that did not happen. And I thought that's probably as close as I'll get because I get close to things, but I don't get to have the thing that I really ache for. And that's where I was back then. And then something in me was like, yeah, not this time. That was simply practice. It was like Barbara. You got Penny. You got Penny. You got Rick Brill in the movie. You got Greg Greenway, and you got Penny. Rick Brill in the movie, successful at the level that we were. Band that I was in, Greg Greenway, same thing. And then Penny. And I got that one right. So I know what the right feels like. And that helps me discern what safety feels like. Because the rightness, being able to have lessons about that and share that from a place of sovereignty with people is part of the formula for getting to safety. And safety is part of how we get to trust. And trust is part of how we get to power. Power being defined as the ability to influence that which is not our isness. We don't influence things that on some level don't trust us along the axis of influence. On some level, they accept either that we dominate them or that they accept that they have welcomed us and we have arrived. But on some level, we have influence in places where permission occurs. And that's not, I asked for it. That's look at the place that thinks that getting out of where you are is harder than staying, because there can be tacit permission. And it's not that permission isn't the word. It's not tolerance or acceptance, but permission isn't the word either. But there's something in that family where we get to get out because we're never without hope. There we go. We're never without hope. We can choose to have hope in any situation because we're still alive. You can't choose to have hope if you're dead. I don't think. I mean, I've never been dead this lifetime, and and I have many friends who have, and so I suppose I could ask them, or I could read something. I'm just not, somebody can tell me. Like a cup of tea, that has deep, warm, yummy, nourishing meanings, right, Bronwyn? Yeah. There's a whole lot. There's a whole lot that has changed since we've met. And in the world. And there's a room, not only is there room for me, us, there's a calling for me, us, to be out. And it feels good to be invited. And it feels good to be cherished and appreciated. Like that, I get to allow that in as nourishment. I get to do that. I don't have to pretend that that's not exactly what feeds my soul and inspires me to do more things for more people. It's really simple. I want to do lots of things for people, and I need to eat. If people could just like feed my life and feed me, I do. I have a track record. I do things. It's really great. And I have lots of fun. And I share. Now I have technology. I can share with you guys while I build things and do things. Like I can like go, okay, see, I'm going to go over to the board. And then those little orange things that when I set them up, I've had them for a year. I haven't set them up yet. They're called Rocket. There's actually 4 of them. And they will beam my whiteboard to this screen. Okay, those of you who were born in this age of technology, it's like, yeah, what? No, not yeah, what? Not yeah, what? I'm old enough to where my first pictures are black and white. Okay, it's not that we were poor. It's all that was available. So this beam the board onto my screen thing, it's like, it's really easy to have a sense of wonder when you allow yourself to not have to know everything. Right? Back to that have to, got to thing. Oh, there we go again. All right, I'm going to look in another place. No, I'm going to find this. I'm going to find it because it's really cool. And I really, 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 really want to share it. And I just saw the edge of it this morning. That's the other thing. Ugh. Oh, wait. No, okay. Oh, let me look one more place, like maybe it fell off. See, there's a whole, these are all classes, by the way. I've got about 40 classes in this room. And all I'm doing at this point is waiting for enough people to come so that on Planet J-Ball, so we can get things done, and I can go ahead and make these classes. And in the meantime, I'm not really waiting. Like I'm going ahead and I'm building out the classes, and I've got 2 of them almost done, which I'm really proud of and I'm really excited about, and I'm looking forward to letting people know, and I'm not that far from it, and that's pretty cool. And I think what I thought was the thing I just saw, and it's not the thing. So don't know where it is. I get to, that wasn't for you. That I've been training myself. Yeah, I grew up with a smart board in your classroom. That's deep. That's deep. A smart board. A smart board. Okay, let me tell a story like this. There's this whole Harvard Yale thing that, people pretend it's this rivalry thing, because it is a rivalry thing, except it's also kind of not, because Harvard and MIT and Yale are really clear about what they do. You get Yale, it's got the drama school, so you get the faces that go out and they're the Beverly Hills, and that's the whole routine. The Harvard people are busy making about 100 times that much money in the back room, and MIT is taking care of the technology for all of it. That's what we grew up with. That's what we grew up with. And it started 1977. It's my freshman year. It's the Harvard-Yale game. They whooped our asses, as they tended to do. And they had this brand new thing called a whiteboard. Brand new. Little bitty one. This big. 1977. Probably $40, 30, $40, right? So you just paid, $100, or $80 for this whiteboard, brand new. And it said on it, it's okay, they'll be working for us in 10 years. And I remembered the board, and I remember what was written on it. And then I watched my life, and I watched the things that happened. And it was eerie. And I also am telling that because it was a brand new thing called a whiteboard. And you're like, yeah, smart board, classroom. Yeah, of course. I'm Iron Man. Right? In the air. That's the one I want. I want to walk around and move shit in the air. Like, I want to live in my data around me. Well, I mean, okay. So I do. It's just different than what I want to work with my meat sack. There's a whole bunch of data that's always being processed. There's a whole bunch of data. Which part are you laughing at, Bronwyn? There's a whole bunch of data that's always being processed, that's coming in from multiple inputs, and then there's being able to stand in the middle of all my data and move it around and, feel my way into it. That's some sexy ass shit to me. That just sounds like heaven. Okay. The gaslighting piece is specifically being told that something that you know is true is not, or something that you know isn't true is, with the whatever it takes, energetics, in whatever expressed form, so that your reality gets overwritten, or is attempting to be overwritten by a lie, by a notness of truth. Okay. Oh. Uh-huh. Good. Right? So I'm making sure that I get to be a truth holder for people who share their stories with me. And the place where I have memory is for things with Planet JWoww. So I tend not to hold on to people's stories in any kind of active way. And things get activated when they remind me. And that has actually worked really well. There was a point where that was the only way that I had memory physiologically. I literally had photographs. I didn't even have videos of my own life, in my head, because of the pain. And so it was a staccato kind of memory. And now that, coupled with being surrounded by trackers, and I mean blue blood bloodhound on a blood feud mission, trackers, off the chart, right? Ronnie Jean, it's been 4 years sometime now in April, and she can tell you almost verbatim what our first conversation was. It's exquisite. So somebody with memory issues who's worked really hard to make up for that in other ways, that's important. And it's been important because I need to stand on my solid ground of my memory. So I surrounded myself with people that I trust, with whom I feel safe, and with whom I feel safe enough to let them tell me what my reality is. I give them permission to shape, to arbitrate my lens stack and how I engage with my reality and all of its axes and components. That's some honored shit. Like, I want people who are like checking a billion times before they do it. That, even though I keep telling them each time, because that helps me know how careful they're being. And then when it happens, it's flawless. And then it's flawless again, and it's flawless again. And so I get to grow massively into notnesses of myself that I trust, which is innovation at work. Innovation is simply going to the edge of your isness, stepping into your notness and not dying. Okay, so that I've just done a massive innovation to something that is across that gapped environment I was talking about. That's the blessing of diversiveness, the blessing of a bunch of diversities hanging out. Lots of gapped environment, lots of bridges, bridging fun. The caliber of the dust with which we make our bricks affects the strength of the bridges we get to build. It's a very different sentence without the get. The caliber of the dust with which we make our bricks affects the strength of the bridges we build. Now, that's what the mainstream would, have you do, and the bridges we build, and us together, and team, and there's losers because we're winners, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, okay? It's a privilege to get to do this. I am honored to be asked, to be welcomed, to do this bridging thing with people. I love the honor of teaching bridging to other people, to setting them up to learn their version of what I do that inspires them. Yay, us. And we can have as much yay, us as y'all can bring. Like, I don't know, 8 billion versions of it. I would love 8 billion versions of yay, us. Oh, wait, that would be a global culture of inclusion, welcome, and empowerment. Yeah, right. That was almost flawlessly delivered. It was almost flawlessly delivered. I was laughing too hard too early. I got to keep practicing that, like that delivery. I need to deadpan that. I really do. Which class, my lady? There's a bunch of them. I have a class on safety that I'm announcing in like the next 48 hours. That's going to be a foundational class for doing other classes. So I can let you know when that is. Safety, sovereign awareness from everyone. I want to start with the step that comes after survival. So there's this whole existential thing that, existence, existential. In my word equations, I say that there's an S in the center of exit, because at that fundamental place where you're either going to exit or exist, there's this S, and that S is a concentrated thing that gets you out of where you are. There's the S roots that you're where you are in your I'm almost about to exit, and then there's the O of opportunity, and then there's the other S, and that S is hooked into survival, because so that's the SOS call from your existence that says, I want to not die. And survival itself throws you the ropes so that you can anchor and then safely come over into survival. That SOS seed, that's the seed of survival, is what comes out of that call for safety, that call for something greater, that call for something beyond even survival. And so you go from exiting to existence. In that moment, you have the chance to do all the rest. Exactly. Great job. You get to do all the rest of the humanality journey. And by the way, you're in class right now. You decided to come to Planet JWoww. I'm living my classes out loud, and then I'm looking for people who are going to do, whether they're videographers or not, I could give a shit, who want to immerse themselves in these videos. I have thousands of hours of videos, and I want to take them apart and start turning them into classes. Those of you who are catching them live, these things are going to be repackaged. I will reframe things. I will, do more with them, etc. I'm seeding my own life. I'm seeding my own work for myself in the future when I have time. So I'm getting all of this root stuff, which is what y'all have been attracted to here, so that you can get it. And some of you are getting it right now raw. Roots, alignment, wings. Raw. You're getting it raw right here. Yes, exists. So you got this existential request. It goes from a question to request. You get yourself hooked up and you get to survival. Contiguous existence is survival. Contiguity is the glue of life. That connectedness. So you do the survival thing well enough and you hit a threshold where contiguous survival becomes safety. And then you do safety enough in enough places in the world over which you have no control and the world over which you do. You do safety enough for yourself, contiguously enough, and you get to security. I got a nice house. It's got an ADT. I got a German Shepherd that eats people. It's a real family dog. I've got all my safety stuff. I don't think about my safety. I'm all good. Right? That feeling in the world. Oddly enough, my Los Angelian butt has felt that the most with a bunch of hippies in a forest. I didn't see that one coming. I did not see that one coming. That's all the real. Okay. Anyway, so you do the safety thing enough and you get to security. When you can do security for selves and other, that is the act of the seeds of sovereignty. By definition, you got to have a realm. You got to have at least one other being. In order to be a sovereign, there's got to be one other being that is doing their version of what you do, so that there's alignment and they're able to be with you and they're wanting to be with you is my thing. You got to want this. This is work up in here. Ask the 6 people out of the hundreds of thousands of people that I've known, and out of that, for real, tens of thousands that there could have been a friendship with. There are 6 people. There are 6 people who have made it through all of my gauntlets. 6. I'm 62 years old. 6. Oh. And they're extraordinary. I mean, they're just extraordinary, and we're all working really hard for the entire world. That's part of why they're here. That globality thing is not something that they do in front of a camera. We eat, sleep, shit, make love, do whatever, all the things. That globality thing, that global culture of inclusion, welcome, and empowerment, where discernment is an exquisite gift that we get to give ourselves so that we know that our safety is assured. My throat chakra, a big part of my journey, and I discovered that I'm a Blue Jay, so language is so exciting. Oh, honey, languaging. The languaging course happens in the beginning, in the first level game courses. Growth, agentiality, magic, and empowerment. And that first game level course, it's just hearing a lot of, the faster people memorize the acronyms, so and like so that they're practicing them, so that they're mantras, so that they're everywhere, so that they're getting calibrated into it, because then it starts changing how you see the possibilities around you. It's a fundamental shift in your capacity for seeing new kinds of innovative, if not evolutionary, opportunities, because it starts feeding your I'm a good thing for myself and other. It gets us to sovereignty that cares. It's important to be a goodness and a greatness for self and other. And the greatness thing is the ego thing. All this stuff about being egoless, you can kiss my ass on the egoless thing and the selfless thing. I have so many kinds of all the not interesteds. Like I got the not interested's family in every direction, future and past. Okay. I'm feed me and I'll feed the world feasts. I know this. I've had no clout and I did all that stuff with those people. I'm really clear. And once we have the money, I mean, fans of the cans, I've got the logo, I've got all the things. It's sitting right there. It's waiting. We're on it. And man, when that gets revived this time, right off the bat, like I'm giving the things away. JWoww, that started out of, first Julie, then Julie Woods, and Julie Woods one word, and Julie Woods one long ass word. And then I got to the Julie Woods one word and JWoww, and almost everyone except for one person loved the JWoww. Great. So I lived into that. And it didn't take me but about, I don't know, 2-3 months till there's something in my head started thinking, this is going to work. Okay, like this is going to be your thing. This is really going to be your thing. So you need to figure out how you're going to give that away so that it lasts for millennia. Like I'm not like seven generations. Fantastic. Go. I'm like, whatever forever is, I want that. Shoot for the stars, you get the moon. Who's bitching? Okay. It's like, I want delight and peace and passion and pleasure and craziness and the struggles that are lessons, and we know it at the time. And so there's a certain measure of assuredness of survival, even in the midst of the struggle, because we have that kind of strength and we have that kind of support. That, I want those for starters, for like everyone on the planet, every being, every isness on the planet. I want it to work. I simply want it to work. And one of the ways that it can work is having a languaging, not simply a language, a languaging, innovation, nourishment, nourish-meant, innovation, nourishment, growth. That's what happens when you put ing on something, right? You said the Blue Jay language is exciting for you all day long. We have an entire languaging. We have it's not even a lexicon, and it's not a dictionary. It's a lexiconarium, canarium, right? What's not too much? Did I say did I use the phrase, it's too much to ask? Did I just say that? You'll come to it and let me know. And thank you. There's a delay, and I'm not sure how much it is. It's been probably about 20 seconds, 30 seconds. So yeah, it's probably, no, it wasn't something that I said. Oh, yeah, right. Thank you. No, it's not. You're right. You're right. And I do want to speak that. I work hard not to fall into the shaming colloquialisms, because they feed the shame that we are fed in this culture. And that's part of what we're clearing and de-euphemizing. That's part of the strength of what's happening out of Planet JWoww, out of what we're doing, out of the classes that we've got. I mean, the classes are off the chart, right? We've got the safety that's part of a SAS class. SAS in and of itself, it has meanings. I mean, we have so many, the Penny's change matrix, the actionism matrix, You know, we are blessed to get to play at these levels and learn and get to make a difference in other people's lives because of what it is that we learn as we play. Like, it just be this like big, what I call a Chihuahua Boris. Okay. That's swallowing its own future lessons so that it shapes its own nourishment of its past back into the future. And that gets to be a whole thing that's where we fuel ourselves at times. And I'm living that and separation and individuation that is not the Chihuahua Boris. I just love saying that. It's just fun. Right? So I get to love myself, honor that I have to eat my own shit, right? Sacred, healthy, intimate teachings. I need to eat my own shit. Because if I'm going to get everything out of the lessons and then compost it into fuel for the next thing, that's why I get to have multi-docs. It's not just a paradox. What do I want with a paradoxes? You know, but that's 2. There's 24 in here. Okay, I'm a yuppie. I didn't want everybody to have their own bed. I want everybody to have their own house. I want them to have their own palace. Okay, and we all get to like hang out together like that. I'm very into the let's do it well, let's do it up. Let's enjoy the things that are good that came out of the systems of capitalism that have worked. My second book is Sifting for Babies in Bathwater. Okay, it's like, I don't know how to, you know, if I'm not going to throw out the baby with the bathwater, the best way I know to do that is, I don't know, take the baby out of the bathwater. It's a thought. So let's take what worked from before, you know, technology, Zoom, all of, you know, the caliber of what we get to do with lights, the opportunity to turn the climate around, which is kind of happening, having the technology that has done enough biomimicry to have the organic energies in it, so that as we understand neural networks, we also come to understand that we are that. So that the celial tendrils get to train us how to interact with them, and we get to train them about how to interact with us, just like we do with technology. And everybody gets to talk to everybody, and it gets to work. I speak fluent digital. I get dead machines to come back to life. I have been aching to say that sentence. I've been aching to say that sentence for over a decade. Thank you very much for the moment. I love it. So it's true, you know, and it's by talking to them. Okay. Oh, the baby in the bathwater. So there was a time when babies got washed in tubs, like small tubs like this. And sometimes that water, the in some households, the baby came last, which is just gross. You know, in sane ones, the baby came first. But that bath water was also warm. So everybody would want to get in it, and you just have that bath water and you have to heat it up, what have you. And sometimes the bath water would be really, really dirty. And people literally accidentally threw out their baby with the dirty bath water. Not like an often thing. Enough for there to be an axiom about it. So the best way, that's why I say, it's not like pick the baby out of the bathwater. I'm very specific about my speaking. I'm going to sift the baby out of the bathwater. I can get a sieve, I can get a net that will catch the tiniest baby with ease. Sifting for babies in the bathwater. I don't want to lose that what that phrase means, in terms of it being an analogy, is that there are good things in really, really lousy places or in lousy circumstances. Okay, you can thank slavery for barbecue, as an art form. I don't mean like, frying something up on a good, like just because you put it over fire, don't make it barbecue, baby. Okay, barbecue is an art as well as a science. And says the daughter of a man whose customers in the 60s would drive 2 hours one way to get his ribs and then take them back home. Okay, and his shack was smaller than most people's bedrooms. All right, I know about barbecue. And that happened out of slavery and oppression. Sitting for babies in the bathwater. There are things that we learned about structure and technology that are wonderful that boomers did. And there's a whole bunch of boomer bashing. Just like there's been a whole bunch of millennial bashing, and I don't want to put up with either group. It's like, if you want to bash somebody, do it on your own time and not on my planet. Don't come up in my house bringing that mess. That's why I have my own planet. I can't tell everybody what to do out on that planet. This is my house. Planet J Wild, this is my house. And I'm still breathing. So anybody who doesn't want to learn etiquette, anybody who doesn't want to learn an empowering language of inclusion, welcome, and empowerment, and calibrate themselves, anybody who doesn't want to help the world, or at least somebody else in some way, if you don't care about other people and you don't want to learn how to care, and you don't, and you decided that you just want everybody to give you everything, this is not the place for you. Everybody up in here is working quintuple time, because they have their own successful lives and they're making this happen. This is the best hell on the planet. And we get to change the world. What I have to say about safety and what you can do it anywhere. And I get to say that because I've been in some stupid places, alleyways at 2:00 in the morning in South Boston in 1977. Okay. Stupid places. If you don't know what that means, look it up. Right? Because somebody was going to die and God told me where they were going to be. So I stood there until they showed up, which of course they did, wearing what I got shown, carrying what it is that I was told they were going to carry. All right, so good. That gets to be a reality for me. I'm honored by that. It's also crazy as fuck. And both of those get to be true. I had a death wish. People got to live because I had a death wish. I would be so glad when we stop taking away from people who turn their trauma into goodness for other people. Right? We work hard to have it be a goodness so that we feel validated. And that gets to be an ego thing. And you get to have your ego in check. And you also get to brag. Being real about goodness and greatness. Brag. You get to brag. I'm going to start a service. She raised rhythms, Dad. I feel akin to you. I'm so glad. Oh, wow. Yeah. It reminds me of SIDS now. Right. Rhythms, our son. He's a great man. She makes the best collard greens, only pork and greens. See, that's what I'm saying. Right? Okay, like, I'm going to steam it with like some fennel, and it's like, oh my God. I've been straight up saying to people, don't be following those skinny people to the best food in town. Like, that's not how you're going to get it. You find somebody who's two of me. When you're there for taste, if you're there for, low caloric intake and nutrients, then yeah, you can follow the skinny kids, the sister and the brotherhood of the yoga pants. But Lord have mercy, if you want something that's just like a meal that you're going to remember for the rest of your life, like you get to the end of the meal and you're like, God, if you need to take me sometime soon, this moment would be a good moment before I live anything after this, because anything after this for a while is just going to be a downslope. Like you could just take me right the fuck now. That kind of meal, you better find somebody about my size and bigger, and taller. She raised Rhythm's dad, right? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that you feel that way. I would want somebody as wonderful as you to feel that way about me. This is what I mean. It's like I envisioned someone like you, and then I got a you, which is even better than someone like you, right? And I got a you saying that. That's some shit. I would want, A. Bronwyn to say that. I didn't know your name, but like what I know of you, I'm like, yeah, that. Whatever that is, that's a yes. And that's one thing. I'm really good at no. You, I want to talk to you. No. And I'm like, anybody who gets offended, not my problem. Okay? Like, I'm 62. I'm helping build my part of this global culture. I'm hearing my languaging from the past 50 years of my life coming out of 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds' mouths. Right? It's an honor to be cherished enough to be the roots of folks like y'all. That's where I am. So what I'm looking to do is, and I just got this, I want us to stop gaslighting each other's cultures. And I'm using languaging to do it. And I want to do it everywhere. Like I want to get to the point where we've got Liwi being taught in kindergarten. So folks are coming up calibrated to have discernment. Inclusion also means exclusion, y'all. You get to make choices. People look at me and go, oh, you're not being inclusive. I'm like, I never said I was going to be inclusive. I'm inclusionary, because inclusive is specifically being inclusionary around diversity. And I'm into all the inclusionary. I want the roots of things. I'm an etymological accuracy is my kink. Right? So for me, I want folks to get a very Joycean, James Joycean, if you will, epiphanic picture of the lobe that they're in, so that they're bringing all of their reach and knowledge and power to that moment as they reach across, as we become maesters, as we go from, in our discipline and we get to mastery, and then we realize that mystery is also part of that mastery, and that's where you get to mastery, and you also get to the point where you're like, with any given situation, you can say to somebody, look, it's I'm not going to say, can I help you? Because yes, I can help you, because I know that I can. That's not hubris. Here's whatever credentials that you need if you need them. What I'm asking you is quite literally, may I help you? Will you allow me the grace gift, sweet one, of helping you do the thing that you ache to do the most, that makes the biggest difference in your world and the worlds of those for whom you have great caring, and for the world at large all at once, and to get that alignment and to get that vision and that dream out into the world, making the difference. And you get to get fed by it. You get to have your needs, your desires, your wants, your joys that are in alignment with what it is you're doing. You get to have those taken care of. We get to be accountable for our behaviors at all times, as if we live in a world of telepaths who always know what we're doing. We get to be proud of all the things that we do all the time. We get to have that be our legend. We get to have that be our legacy that we're living into in both directions. It gets to be true. I know that it gets to be true because I am living it, and it is fun. It is a great game, sweet ones. It's incredible over here. I love it so much. I love it so much. I love it so much. I want all of y'all to have this much fun. I really do. I want you to have this much fun. Like if you want it, only if you want it. I ain't telling y'all what to do. I'm saying if you want it, I want you to have it. Gets to be. It gets to be true. It gets to be. There we go. Right? Thank you. I don't know where I said it. If you can tell me what the sentence was, thank you. See, this is what I love about sharing the game. Thank you. And as I say to people, just because you write the song doesn't mean you have it memorized yet. This is where I get to learn in public. Now, I could stay hidden and get my gotten. That was fun. And then come out as if, I get to have get and not simply got and okay. And I could do that. And I don't want to do that. I want, for those who may never, ever, who ache for exactly what it is that we are, and for whatever reasons, will never get here physically, or you won't, like, this is how you get to get fed. Yay and congratulations. You manifested a me. And I can safely say that there's not a whole lot like me. Us. And you get to have a me. Good job. That means that you have a spine made out of, Wolverine's claws, adamantium steel, and a pair of whatever you've got the size of Jupiter. Whether you're born with them or bought them, it doesn't matter. Whatever pair you got, or whatever one you got, or none you got, or whatever your deal is, whatever gives you that drive thing, on whatever level, it's huge because you requested a me. And I'm jacked into this globality thing, so we all get to go on this ride together and figure it out. And I'm building the tribe out right here in front of the world. And we're doing a straight calling. This isn't the Taliban hiding behind anything. This is just me saying, okay, I want to help everybody feel better and get along. And I mean it. So I'm just going to bring stuff. So yes, classes. We're in the process of building out my site and building out the places where people can sign up for things. I don't have that yet. If you know someone or are someone who knows website design in WordPress with competent help, it would be just a matter of a short time of getting things in place. So that's what I'm doing. I'm putting out a call and saying, okay, folks, this is what we're doing. I can get to you faster if I get help in these ways. Some of them are services that we need. Some of them are instructions that we need. Some of them things are money. Some of the things are, physical assets. Some of the things are processes. It's like there are all kinds of currencies of power, cops. There's so many cops as we're building these bridges out. And I'm deliberately going with currencies of power and cops because I want to change what cop means. Even as I say it, there's a certain fear that shows up in me. I want that to not be true. So I'm making currencies of power be a good thing for me. And I was going to keep calibrating myself so that I calibrate that fear right out of me. And I can feel a little bit where it's working. That's exciting to me. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You got to get back to, yeah, right? Oh, that's a good one where God worked. Oh, that's, I said earlier, I got to get back to my practice. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's a fantastic sentence. See, all right, so I want a world scribe tribe. For example, that's one of the guilds that we have, the scribe tribe guild. And so when scribe tribe, you can tell when scribe tribe folks are on because there'll be like 80 messages as they're taking notes as we're going, because folks are going to come back as folks come on planet, as folks bridge to our satellite places. They're not coming on planet. As folks come onto the bridge from the mainstream and are like, I want to get that out in the world. I'm like, great. Take one video, make sure that it's verbatim, and we've got a transcript, and then we've got other folks who will pull out the things, and folks are curating them into packages and learning, and that's what we're putting in the library so that people can build their own world. Like, that's what I'm setting up. And I, just want to, it's not that I need a whole bunch of people. I want a whole bunch of people who are on their way to success to come here and get nourished and get there faster. The more happy, successful people are, I think that's a better world. It's a world that I want to live in more. And success includes love. That's important. And, and care for each other. So by setting up my own world, then I get to set the parameters for what gets to be included. And that's power. Power being defined as the ability to influence that which is not our business. Okay, and everything that's outside my meat sack, I have a whole planet that's outside my meat sack that I have influence over. That feels powerful. And I've got, date and time stamped in the mainstream, on the mountain, in the margin, and inside magic, the 4M reality. I've got date and time stamped me getting to have that influence and getting to love on people so that they do get to their greatness faster. I love that. I'm honored by that. I'm honored by their trust in me to help them name and then claim their goodness and greatness at new levels. To work on new realities with them so that they don't have to keep re-upping the same reality that they don't like, that they can have a new reality and work with that until it becomes a real reality that they can stand in. And then if they really, really love it, then maybe it can become a reality. Although, why would you keep doing the same thing over and over again when you could just you simply have new realities that you love and get to pick from, and they get to change, and you can have more than one. That's what the multi-docs is. Ooh. Oh, cool. Huh. Oh, that's cool. I have, if you guys ever feel like you want to work with me on some of the things that you're figuring out about your energetics and how you express them in your world, I'd be interested in, I have a 30-minute discovery that I do with folks for free. I'd be interested in sitting down with you and see if that, if you choose, if that was something that'd be of interest. I'd be interested in sitting down with the two of you. Like, I'm hearing myself right now, like the quaver in my voice. And this is me standing in my power and going, I have really great things to offer damn near everybody that resonates with me. Let me be clear. Damn near everybody that resonates with me. Okay. And so that's what that 30 minutes is to find out, so that I'm not wasting anybody's time. I'm not wasting anybody's money. What it is that they want to get to, I can help them get to. And if there are energetics or languaging around what I'm doing that would be helpful to you guys, let's find out whether or not that's true. So I invite you to take it into your consideration, because you guys are fun. Is why. So I'm just really, there's a part of me that's just really glad that that's where you are. Okay, because that's a wonderful next us of power that you guys are coming into. Your home, this first home, your roots. This requires wealth. And if you put an extra L in there, then you got love that goes in with that money. You get to love the money. You get to love the process. You get to pour love into it, delight into it, pleasure in it. Please, lots and lots and lots of intentional, mindful yummy vortex opening, love making as much as you can, pouring that, all of that love into your process, your future home, the land, all before you get there, so that you can let the land-cestors have an idea of who you are and what you're doing at more of a close-up and intimate level. And you do that long before you touch the land in any sort of sustained way. It's fun. It's fun when you're consciously playing with the ley lines around the space that you live in. That's a yes. Okay. I can send you my scheduler, and that would be delightful. Why don't you, are you ever on Facebook? Because you can DM me there, and I will, in Messenger. And then I can send you my scheduler, and we can find a time. And it's simple discovery. No, there's no pressure of any kind. You're delightful, and if there's something that I can do to accelerate you guys's empowerment as you do your work, I would like to have the opportunity to find out if that's something I can do. So, yes, okay. Yes. So I love all right, so the enthusiasm, that was a big deal for me to just put that out there in the world. So thank you. And thank you for being a yes at the other end. I'm surrounded by people who live in this state of throwing me a parade because I'm breathing. I am so moved. You put one foot in front of the other, and you put one foot, the other foot, and the other foot, and the other foot, and the other foot. And then you're 250 pounds, and you have walked 26.2 miles, and it's taken you 19 hours and 45 minutes. And they're taking up the finish line. It's so late. And they see you coming, and he yells, "Hey, Stan, we got one more." And they come back and they put the finish line back down for you so that you can cross the finish line. There's no element of a cell in my body that did not hurt, and it did not matter. That was my 4th marathon that I finished. I feel like with the world that I'm crossing the finish line of being ostracized. That's what this is. That's what this is. That's what this is. I feel like I'm crossing out of feeling unwelcome. And like I'm going to get to do the things that I came to do, that I fought to stay alive to do. I'm going to get to make the difference in the world that I came here to make, because I'm not by myself this time. I've got y'all, whoever you are, whenever this is. And we can say that now, whoever you are and whenever this is. I believe that my dreams are already coming true. They're so complex that it's taking linear time, and my dreams are already coming true. And they're good dreams. I believe that I've got energetic say over an entire planet, because I do, because it's my planet. It's planet JWoww. I didn't say the planet. I didn't say anybody else's planet. I said my planet. I have say over my planet. I'm dreaming big dreams. Cool things are happening. It so turns out that such cool things are happening on planet JWoww that they also happen to be affecting millions of people out in those other worlds, which is really neat. And it's a byproduct of us living our bliss and honing our skills so that we can take them across the bridge. It just so happens that the world seems ready for us in even our raw places. Case in point, this whole night, right? 2 hours again, that flew. Oh. I would love, yeah, we made it, right? And you get to go to sleep. Yes, in a moment. You're here. We're here. Yes, baby, we made it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we did. So it'd be good for me to go to sleep. So I'm going to do that. And so first I want to thank Bronwyn and Mikey and other folks who've been coming in for the past couple hours. I really appreciate it. Please know that I welcome folks dropping in. This is me. I come with an idea. I come with something, some concept that Spirit has given me, and then I come here and I learn how to live my life in front of y'all so that you can see. When you see me on a stage, when you see me in the polished thing, when you see all of that, those of you who are here, you'll know what it took for me to get to that. And that appreciation for the journey that I have to take from behind my autistic multiplicitous 8-ball, from my almost pathologically shy 8-ball. This is all learned behavior. Like, I'm watching myself in the video and I'm like, okay, there's some things I want to change. I did what it took to get here, and I kept things as authentic as I could keep them, which was just authentic, and I was either going to make it or I didn't. So I get to be here now with y'all. I would love very much, I want to do classes because I want to start folks in bigger settings. Like, I'm doing one-on-one here. I want to do classes that's more accessible for folks financially. It is more accessible for folks because they'll be online, so I can, teach bunches of people and not have to go places. I may or may not prettify my background. This is where I do the work. The phrases, I shall be free when the fullness of the experience is greater than the security of my armor, the calibrative wowdoms that come through, the one I had earlier, the caliber of the dust with which we make our bricks affects the strength of the bridges we get to build. These come out of this space where I can see all of what I need to see. And part of what I've been doing is making the videos, and I don't do any special cleanup, as y'all can see for you. This is where I am, because there's nothing for me to be ashamed of. I'm not going to just sit in a small square. Like, people who want me to be in a small square, that's not going to happen, y'all. If you want me on MSN or what have you, it's going to be like, y'all are going to need to either give me a bigger screen or see me by myself or what have you, but I'm not going to fit in that little screen and sit still. It's not going to happen. I'm having trouble sitting at all. I haven't sat during this. I've been sitting to do these. I can't even do that now. So there's a lot of energy running. So thank you. Thank you. All right. 24-second prayer. We gather our power. For those of you who know the drill, we gather our power in from all directions, sending it back with love out in all directions. The call that I am doing for Planet, for those of you who wish to gift vest or share vest your energies. Here we are doing a call for videographers, for scribes, for money for the poditize. There's a podcast place that I want to get to. I want to raise 20 grand like in the next, few weeks. And I think I have a way to do that. And that part of it is classes. So, all of that. We're sending all of that out here because I do all of that, and we get to move the things out. We've got the inside stuff done. So that's me. And then whatever it is that y'all need, hold that right there and put it here and there. And now we're going to do the 24-second prayer. 24 seconds, sweet ones, of staying in our power. Here we go. All right. Staying in our power completely. On the count of 3, we root in all directions. 1, 2, 3. Rooting in all directions. Rooting in all directions. Rooting in all directions. Rooting in all directions. That's what we get to do. That's what we get to do with our power. That's what we get to do with our love. 2, 1. All right. And then, all right, y'all know how this works, right? Judas Peekaboo prayer. All right, so here we go. And hi. Okay, everybody. This is the fun part. Julie thinks big thinkings and she talks many bunches. That's what she gets to do, and she likes it many bunches. And then we get to have the peekaboo prayer at the end, and that's the best old part that I think. Okay, so everybody ready? You got your peekaboos ready? Okay, here we go. 1, I'm gonna press the button, okay? I'm gonna press the button right now. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, where did everybody go? All the peoples disappeared. Julie says that people's up in here. Hi, peoples. Hello, hello, peoples. Also, boy. We're glad to see you. Thank you. You come in. Also, those are peoples. Okay. Also, my goodness, also my goodnesses. Thank you, many bunches. Thank you, many bunches. That was fun. Okay, we will do that one again. Okay, bye. All right. Oh, sweet ones, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this time. I'm JWoww of Planet JWoww, and we are a tribe-sourced human. This is our legend that we're building together, sweet ones, with you. Thank you so much for that, too. Sticking to it. Until soon. Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody. I'm glad that you like it, Bronwyn. This is what I got. A real room. There you go. Take care, sweet one. Sleep well.